Boop. There we go. Okay, yeah. Hi guys. Just wanted to start a little bit early. Just make sure nothing blows up before. If anything blows up, I'll know a little bit prior before we actually go. I need sign time. Okay. Yeah, if there's any questions, beforehand, I can answer them. While we start queuing up, making sure everything's a-okay. Looking pretty okay. Just looking at all the metadata. Yep, so hey everyone. Hey Brony, Albrony, Legit, and Bees. Nice. Okay. I forgot to actually send this out. Let me do that real quick. Hang on. Let me set it on live here and here. Okay. Cool. Hey, another Brony fandom. Hi guys. Maybe I'll let you guys come in before I do a whole introduction. Hopefully you'll know what you're getting into. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just want to double make sure everything is a-okay. Well, no one's actually looking at it yet. Okay, cool. Let me just also do this. Just making sure everything's a-okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. Go get started right around now. Okay. Take requests. I'll have something sort of like that. We'll see. I'll get started. Boop. Alright. Hi guys. So welcome to the thing. I'm Yoshi Greenwater and you're you. Wow. I'm super nervous. So I'll try to hide my nervousness with you guys. You guys are so great. So yeah, hopefully everything will be okay. So trying to focus on making sure everything's okay. Okay. Hi. So let me get started on this. So this will be like a 2-hour stream, so if anyone says you're going too long, that's why. So this is did I make an actual title for this? I did. Oh, just creating 2D animation. So I'm your host again, Yoshi Greenwater. So I'll be your guide. So welcome. Okay. So this will be about if you wanted to get into animation, or starting out, or you have an idea, or you want to make an animation. I'll just kind of go through my own process, and hopefully it'll also inspire you guys if you wanted to make your own animations too. So I think we'll just get started then. All right. Looks like everyone's here ish. Okay. That's okay. So, what's the first thing you need to do when you want to make some pony videos? Hardware. Yeah. Okay. So, the way that I did it with my journey, I started around 5 years ago with my channel. So I made my channel just to be pony animation stuff. So, the first tablet that I had, I'm gonna point, is this Wacom Intuos Draw. I have it in my cupboard. So this is an actual picture of mine. I kept it really nice. So this tablet is pretty cheap, compared to other things. So this is a matte screen, so it has these little dots, so it registers where you are like this. So you have to look at a monitor above you, and then you get to see what you're drawing. So this does not have a screen, but you can draw directly on it with the pen there. So that was pretty good for a while. So okay. I was wondering is the chat actually going? I don't think the chat's going. Should I take a bit to figure that out? Yeah, I could just get rid of it. I'll get rid of the chat. It's not working. Whoop, whoop. There you go. Now I got my room. Okay. And then I used this one for about 2 or so years. And then I kind of like outgrew it a bit. Especially, I was also taking some classes in college, and they were using some bigger, like longer versions of this, or bigger versions of this matte screen one. But then also in another, tucked away room, they also had these big, giant 22-inch screen tablets. I never really got to use them, but I was like so jealous. So I just kind of bit the bullet and just said, this is going to be, at least part of my job or like some freelance stuff, so it'll be way better to have this. So this is an actual picture of my Wacom that I'm actually using right now, so it's kind of meta for me. So, so this means that this actually has a screen in it. So it's like a monitor, but you can actually touch it. So it's hard to describe while I'm also using it. So this lights up, it has a monitor inside it, so I'm able to directly draw right on top of it using this pen. So for more actual beginners, I would suggest either one of this for digital animation or drawing, or if you don't have any budget, I would say maybe just paper and pen. Really, it's actually the way to go. For hardware, we'll get into software later. And then also sticky notes are really good for flip notes or flip books, so I would suggest that too. Okay. Yeah, we're having a stream today. It's all part of HogCon. Welcome. For tech side on software, I used the most recent version of Adobe Animate. So 2019 came out last year. But I'm using, the first one I was using was CS6. So that'd be way long ago, in like 2013. That's when I started, 5 years ago-ish. So everything here is going to be on the Adobe Creative software, Creative Suite. So that's with the Creative Cloud. So that's what I've been using. And also what this software we're all inside of right now is. I'm trapped inside here. So that does art and animation. The other two that I use most often are Adobe Audition and Adobe Premiere. I took a class also in After Effects, but it's not the best for just doing simple edits. It just doesn't quite work out as easy to use. Ease of use with After Effects is a bit hard, and I don't really use enough to really justify it, so I use Premiere. And Audition, just because it comes also with Adobe, the whole has like every Adobe stuff together, so that also really works too. So just wanted to highlight those as my secondary video softwares. Okay, so next section. Oh yes, so starting out, don't be afraid of just, if you have something really dumb or just like your first time animating, I'd shared it, so go ahead and share it. So this is 2013. I think I can actually share this as a link, just because my computer's actually get a break if I probably do that. There you go. So that's a link to this video. So it's about 5 seconds, so I'll make that a new tab and watch that. So I'll hang out and actually drink some water. Okay. I'm all alone, why should I be nervous? This is so weird. So yeah, if you watched that, I'm sorry. So that was my first animation. And I'll get into more specifics of what goes into it and everything. So, or in this case, not really went into it. So, yeah. So starting out, I would suggest, to start super simple. I'll look also some more tips about that too later on. Yep. So here's some, if you want to get more into it, is you just do some exploring with art and animation. With animation, you want to just test and like do as many like different features of stuff to do. Just learning the basics of like each feature in your software or just on paper. And just keep trying and just trying to keep going for that. I have another slide, so I'm trying to figure out what else to say about this one. So even if it's only like just 1 pound, you know, like nothing, anything super heavy, it's just like more fun to just try and do a bunch of little small stuff with your animation tests. It's like doing a pencil test. You remember like I don't know why you remember with the Disney where they do like black and white pencil tests. So stuff like that where before you really get into it, you want to do some passive stuff. So leads into this. So also with your tests, kind of like with the first video that I linked, I was just playing around with just doing motion and just trying to, I didn't even animate the pony essentially. So it was more just trying to figure out how animate works and try to, you know, get it all the way down the pipeline to uploading it, basically. So that's what that was. So just trying to do one feature at a time when you do a test. So you kind of building up your building blocks instead of trying to take on a whole, you know, 7-minute thing off the bat, which also leads to the next point. So this is just showing that the only thing that really changes between here and here is that the blink. Nothing else changes, so that's what led into that. Don't make a magnum opus early on, essentially. Like this stack of pile is probably like a script of script of words of what you want. Like you might want like a whole series, or want to do like a whole 20-minute video or something, and it's just gonna be too much. Like if the script's you know, gonna fall on your pony, you don't want to do that early on. If it's like your second video or something, or even your first, definitely not your first. If your script is, you know, this big, that it's not gonna turn out that well. Some examples of these are probably like Double Rainboom, or what was it, Dusk Dawn, stuff like that. Or like the first or so video, you know, something like that, where it's just like too ambitious or something too long or too grandiose that the team didn't have enough experience or enough tests and like enough knowledge, enough, you know, to really get something good, essentially. So not that it's bad to like keep trying on this, but it's like as a first video, I would just recommend, even if you're working in a team, to work on, you know, even like a 2 or 3 page script. Like that might be too much until you really learn enough through a couple years to say that yes, I can have enough knowledge with the puppets, with the backgrounds, whatever it is, and you might be struggling with, to then kind of jump into bigger and bigger projects is basically what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's essentially what I did too. Like you saw with the first video. And then I started doing like 30 seconds, just trying to play with different stuff with videos, and then trying to slowly go into longer and longer with like 1 minute every week or so. I was actually doing like, yeah, I think I was doing like a minute video like every 2 weeks or so. That was horrible. It was just so much strain on that too. Like you don't want to really, if you have other commitments like school or something, to really balance it out, you know. So also some resources to get you started with learning about these basics. So you want to know the rules really before you can break them. So Richard Williams wrote a book, Animator Survival Kit. I have it. I read it front to cover, so I would definitely recommend it. But if you really just want like actual animation stuff instead of just, you know, fluff of how many different ways you can walk, really, that's what most of this book really is. So most of the stuff is just, you know, like lip sync, which you might be using you know, half the time is only like 2 pages in here. So definitely a very good book, but it's for classical animation with that. So if you're going to be into that, also get into that too. I thought of this so well ahead. Also resources for digital animation too. Will be Draba Jazza. He's a YouTuber. But I would recommend more of his older, like way older stuff. Like this even says like 5 years ago too, so I must have saw it at the same time as when I was starting out. He made a bunch of playlists and different animation videos on how to make Flash projects and Flash animations. So these go really into depth of every step of the process of how to make an animation. Especially because I was doing Flash too, so we were doing it the same, you know, same software, so it was really easy to just jump in and go, okay, you know. So this really was like the first, you know, tutorial that really helped me a lot. So give a lot of credit to them. Won't get too much. It's like it's later work. Okay. So now we're gonna go more in depth on each stage of the process of how to get your little scribbles into a nice pony. So let's take a little swig and see if there's any questions so far on any of the stuff I talked about. I can answer them now. Just take a little break. Need a little mental break right now. So I can clear my mind a little bit. Otherwise I'll keep going. Okay. Are we all good? No one's lost yet? Whew, okay. Wait for you a couple more seconds so I can also breathe. I've never had this many people in a stream before, so this is great. Love you guys. So I usually do, let me plug a little bit right now. I try to do a video every month. So in the meantime, I try to do streams with live streams where we with the chat kind of make up our little short videos to do. So we kind of mad lib and kind of figure out what kind of adventures we can do with that. So so that'll be on Wednesdays. Wow, super plug, not even paying attention. Yeah. So okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. So how do we get from an idea to a full video? We start with a script or an idea. So with my process, I like to have like one sort of idea, like a one-word idea that I want to make for a video. These are for my later videos, like my recent videos. So try to give like one idea and then try to like expand on it and try to make like some kind of draft of it. So if I can zoom in a little bit, see how much you can see this. So this is the script for the Holiday Caper. So I write these in Google Docs. So I usually write a brief. So it'll be like the smallest synopsis or like the easiest way to like see if a story works. I'm not probably going to say like everything in part of this, so I'm not going to read everything. But just a brief of gifts are disappearing across Ponyville, Derpy is on a case, Poor Boney, visual backstory, Hold Town Party with Pony, and Charlie Brown and Grinch. So these are my kind of ideas of what I want the story to have, or like have visual ideas and like references to stuff. So I can say like, oh, a Charlie Brown like idea, like the trees are like little saplings that are kind of like bending over, like a Grinch is like the stealing of the presents and then giving it back, kind of like whole idea. So then I can take from that and go, okay, I have an idea for this story now, and then I can start fleshing it out and then kind of taking every little sentence here and then writing out. Let me zoom a little bit more. And then kind of having some ideas of what, and fleshing it out, what I want to happen. For like different settings, because it doesn't have dialogue with my videos, I'm able to describe things more with what I want. So you can kind of read a little bit of that. So I try to separate them by scenes, and then just basically what happens and what I want to happen. So just saying like Derpy is shocked, it's like I'm able to take that and go, I know what to do for that, you know. So it's a bit longer than usually my other videos. Usually my scripts are around a page to a page and a half. So video is usually 1 page per minute. So I can usually see like about how long the videos are going to be by how much words I put into it. You script with other people or just do the script yourself? Let's say that I'm a one-man band, so I basically do from beginning to end is all me. So I create everything. Because I take some resources, especially from the show, as just visual stuff, and most of the music and sound effects are from other libraries. But yeah, other than that, I create all the visuals and animations and stories and everything are all me. So I'm thinking the recent video I did with the Mirror Cave, I took some of the music from other sources like video games and then put them into Synthesia and then play with the MIDI of that. So I'll get into about that too. For the script, especially with this one, I was having a little bit of trouble because like in the brief, I wrote a poor pony and then a visual backstory. So this whole thing is about this pony is stealing gifts, and then Derpy has to figure out like the mystery of it. But then I thought, geez, that's pretty real. Like that's gonna get pretty depressing because I already had a video like 2 years, 3 years before that was basically this, where an actual poor pony was doing bad things, and there was a whole mystery of that too. So I was like, learning from that mistake to not do that. So you just got to go more fantastical with this and make it more fun, make it less relatable. So here we just say like, a little bit more. So I was having trouble figuring out what they should be to be more fantastical. And so I was like, okay, I don't know. They magic trees, yo. It was like perfect. So I rewrote a bunch of the script, and I think I just rewrote the storyboard too a little bit too. So just to make everything else make sense. Now that I know that there are trees instead of ponies, and then everything else kind of really clicked into place a little bit more. And I also made the Charlie Brown reference also make more sense because they're actually trees. So then having them be the Grinch made that easier too. So I think with most of my videos, I usually have like 1 or 2 phases of it because I usually, you know, have that one word of what I want. So like with the mirror one, it was basically just mirror. With the cave, in the monster in the cave video. So my original idea, or like I'm trying to play around with different ideas, is basically what I'm trying to say. So don't start out with like your first idea is usually the least creative. So it's gonna be the most uninteresting, unoriginal script if you just go by your first phase or your first idea to that. So this is the script to the witch one, where my original script title for it was Derpy Witch Witch's Witch. So that didn't go over too well with my mind. So this is brief ideas. So basically everything that kind of happens in a summary. I had more ideas than that goes into the show, just because of pacing and other kind of stuff, just to make everything really just keep going. So with the witch one, which I think was last year, maybe fall time. So this is a little bit older, but if you remember, I had a bunch of like straw ponies. Like they're made out of like instead of a straw man, they were like straw ponies. The original draft had them be actual ponies, and then there were going to be this audience for it to switch. That was going to be on a big stage and be the Trixie, who's going to present to all these other ponies, and then all the ponies also like really like her, and all the witches have like they have their magic wands, and they kind of just shake their wands like a Japanese pop idol kind of a thing performance. So then I kind of rewrote it and to make them actual straw ponies instead of actual ponies. So I kind of changed the script a little bit too, but yeah, this is about how to use their wands as glow sticks instead. So I kind of save. I usually don't try to rewrite it in the script if it's too late. Like if I'm already storyboarding, and then I decide like in the storyboard stage, if I change it, I probably won't change the script. So that's also a thing just for my process. So is this the animation good work? Oh, these are scripts for older videos, so these are already done. Yeah. What video is upload? Oh. How am I doing? I gotta go over here. Okay. Couldn't see. Next part. So you have a script. You wrote that all out, and you think you're pretty good. Next part will be, at least for me in my process, let's say that, will be storyboarding and sketches. So these are just basic little stick ponies of trying to convey some ideas of what I want exactly. So I try to make them in a frame, full screen, and then just kind of have them the same size of stuff, same proportions and everything from what I want. So the one on the left is from my Halloween video. So we got this evil doppelganger Derpy who has a beard and a horn and a bat wing. This is a normal Derpy, and she's like scared of the other one being laughing. So and the one on the right is from my Derpy Labo. So this is this dragon that I drafted. There's this castle, and then there's Derpy building this dragon thing. So and then I try to, at least with this one, I thought that was design was pretty good, and then I kind of finalized it afterward. So I also make them animatics. So I try to time my videos out with the storyboards, so it's around the same time. It's like down here it has a timeline of time, so I can say like I want this particular frame to go for like 2 seconds before I change something, and then I time the whole thing out. So I kind of do everything in steps. So I kind of do script, and then revise script, and then come back a day later, revise script, and then storyboard, and then just go all the way through and finish the storyboard of all the ideas of what I want, and just very simple of like not having final designs for everything. It's also going to be a big thing too. So here we go into character design. Yeah, this is Flash. Character design. So these are all the puppets, the main puppets that I was using for my 5 years or so on YouTube. So this is the original one that I started out with. These are by Zachary Rich's team. So this was in Double Rainbow, are these puppets. So I could like drill in and explore like why these kind of got a bit complicated. So every column here has a different part to it. So I could take any of these parts, you know, apart and then kind of animate it. So the head is one layer. So I took a lot of inspiration from that. It's definitely helpful to have something to work with at the beginning, because otherwise it's really hard to make a puppet. So that's what these called. character models in Flash are kind of colloquially known. There's not a really real name for them, meaning like they're puppets or puppet rigs, where you can use this in multiple frames essentially. So we'll have a demo a little bit later. This is the first puppet that I made. It's the Paper Derpy version. She's invisible. There she is. So I have invisible layers also in here. Also, the double room had some too. So, you can see like there's extra layers in here that I kept in there. So in case I need them, I can unhide them and then use them. So it has the basic kind of same structure. So everything's usually in the same place and kind of ordered in the same way. So every bit can come apart, and then there's even more stuff to this too. So these are the universal puppets. So they're able to be used in multiple scenes and different shots at the most typical angle that you'll see. So I used this for a couple years or so. It was a bit easy to use, especially this one. This one just had way too much going on. That was really hard to use. Paper Derpy was a bit simpler, and because I made it myself, I basically knew what everything was inside it. But it also meant that I knew the limitations of it as well. So I knew that I couldn't do certain things with it without like breaking things or like adding things to it. So after a while I was like thinking like, oh, I can't do too much with it. Yeah. So I also didn't have pupils. That was really hard, really hard to show a lot of expressions. So we'll get to that with the next one. But yeah, so I watched the MLP movie, and it had the Tempest Shadow song, and then it had the backstory with these little chibi ponies. I just fell in love with them, so I made my own inspiration of it. So we'll be using this one a little bit later on too. So I'll put everything, take everything apart, and you'll see how that's put together with that. So because that has pupils, it's really easy to have a lot more expressions to it compared to this one. And there's a lot of like line tapers and line weights that were really hard to use with the paper one, that were solved with the lineless or outlineless version. So let me tell you a little more. Like this. So yeah, in context to making a bunch of this, saved, to make it a video, see that I already drew all my storyboards first. That sometimes happens too, where sometimes you, in having these different phases, is that you can see like, oh, this design doesn't work too well, or something that you want to fix. Then you can go into character design and finalize everything and say like, oh, maybe it doesn't need to have this wing, flipped upside down or something, or get rid of them, or maybe it's too hard to figure out how to draw it. Something like that. You just want to have a bunch of iterations of stuff, so you don't have your first idea be your only idea. So with that, then with these universal puppets, because all the ponies are basically all the same body shape with the mares and stallions and everything, you can basically take all the hair off, recolor them, add new hair. It's a different pony. So that also really helped too, is that I can just basically do that to like every pony, make a whole cast just by making one really good one. Hopefully that you can think of everything that you want to put into it and then recolor it into a whole cast of them. So I think they're really cute. Next up, backgrounds and settings. So having backgrounds, it's more objectionable, I guess. What's a good background? Because there's so many different things that can go either really good or really bad with them. These are all live backgrounds. So inside it, I can also go inside it and then show like the outlines. So you can kind of see like how different the outline colors shows that they're on different layers. So I try to put everything on a different layer so that I can, you know, move this tree over here and it'll be in a different position without having to worry that, oh, now I'm gonna have this gap here or something. Not so with Flash. Everything's very modular and you can copy paste a bunch of stuff. So you can copy paste anything. So I can have like 2 trees here and just instantly use it in the same artwork. So get rid of that. I also like going a little bit out of the boundaries with this guy here, kind of clips out of the way. I think also with this one, yeah, like I have this bookcase off the edge here, and it's okay if you just kind of frame it in the right way. As long as you have a rectangle, you know, boundary to it, you can add whatever you want on the edge. So these are all backgrounds that I made. So I made all of these also in Flash. So everything that we talked about basically was, the script was in Google Docs. You could also draw it in Flash too with the text tool. But everything else, storyboard, character design, backgrounds, and later animation, were all inside Flash. So it's very, very powerful and very useful. But a close up of this too. Like I think even his cactus was from a video either before or after. So I drew this cactus and I thought that's a good cactus. And then reuse it, where I just was able to open the other file for the animation, copy and paste the cactus right in there, so I didn't have to worry about it too much. So that goes out, and then also this door, I believe, opens. So this door has frames, if I can get to it. Yep, there's different frames of opening, and I use that in one of my videos. So having a background is being just as good as your characters is really good. And let's talk about how objectionable a good background versus a bad background. It's just how much, I guess, stuff is in it, or how much detail each thing has. Like my character designs, like I think each of my character iterations, I've had different backgrounds. Like with the Canon one was more very, very like Canon to the MLP style, where everything was very basically just copy pasted from that. I think with this one, I don't think I changed the backgrounds too much compared to the other one, but definitely with this one, with this version, with the flat one, I did try to go for this much more flat, no outlines. I mean, the backgrounds themselves didn't have background outlines, but also getting a lot of all the swirly decorative details. I got rid of those to make them more fit in with the styles. So having the styles and backgrounds kind of complement each other is good. So okay, next up, animation. You've worked already for probably like 2 or 3 days just working on everything else. Once you get all the assets pretty much done, then I work on the animation. So this takes a bit. If you're starting out, like if you think you've done like a couple of videos or so, just for like copy pasting some backgrounds or whatever, with some sample puppets, making a real video of mine, let's say, takes about right now 3 or 4 weeks to complete, and it still takes like 2 weeks or so just to animate it. The rest of the time is just making the script, and storyboard also can take a bit because you have to draw like every frame or action, and you have to really think a lot more. So that's basically like your blueprint is your storyboard. Like even here, I can say like I know exactly what I need in this shot. Like I'm gonna need a derpy because I can tell by the hat. Just gonna be in this kind of pose. I need a background with a hill and a horizon line, so that means I need a ground. I need an extra prop with this camera. So once I get all those assets and all those stuff together and I'm happy with it, then I'll be able to pose the character and animate it a little bit more. So it's very very tiresome. but it creates some good results and stuff for it. A lot of hard work. So next up, let's see. So yeah, I wanted to talk more about after you finish the animation. I think I'll have some time for that to do some animation. But once you finish the animation, it kind of goes into post-production. Let me get some water for that first, though. Is there any questions about anything so far? Oops. Let me zoom in on this studio. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. I said that I got nervous. So this is Audition. Looks fun. So we got a bunch of yep. I can zoom in even more. I don't have my chat. Okay. So I could open it, but it might break my computer with just so much stuff going on. So this is I guess the newest version of Audition. It's 2019. So this is my dashboard for making sound effects and music. So I'll be editing WAV files and stuff. It's basically if any sound effects or something, you know, is too long, or I want it to be pitched up or like slowed down, I can work with that to fix it. Some sound effects that I took from YouTube, like this squeaky toy sound effect. It had like 30 or so different sound effects that were basically the same. So I was able to put it into here and then say like, I want this one, and then save that out. So pretty fun stuff with that. Once you know what you're doing, to be able to do some stuff. But again, I also use Synthesia just for like the recent one, the Cave, to change the instruments to what I wanted, essentially. Now this one over here, this is Premiere. So this is where we put everything together. So everything here. So what do we got? We got a timeline. So this one has, I was gonna touch it. Let me lock it so I don't move it around. So this timeline has the video up here. The video, my purple lavender timeline has the animation that I did. So this is Flash. The top line is all Flash. I got an in card at the end. Also at the bottom here is the music that goes with the intro. The green is the music. The long green is music. And the small greens you can kind of see are the sound effects. So I try to add a sound effect to basically everything that needs it. Oh, thanks, Melissa. Forgot I had that on. Thank you. So this is a lot of work to get this all going. So the sound effects have like everything that has like a punch or like something where something would hit or something. I try to add a sound effect to it. So you see like there's a bunch in here. And I also play with the sound effects too, sometimes just in Premiere, where I'm able to again do the stuff I would in Audition, but it's just be like easier to change it on the fly, essentially. Where if I need it like, you know, 1 or 2 pitches higher, I don't know, audio stuff. So I needed a little bit higher noise, then I'm able to do that with Premiere. So once I get that all settled out with Premiere, that'll be the final step for animation. And then it goes on to the next step. So we're still not done with just this. Next we have to put it somewhere for all you guys can see it. It's gonna be the YouTube for me. So let's save this project. So this is YouTube Studio. I didn't have a picture of when I was uploading it, so this is afterward. So so actually the last thing that I do creatively, I think, is getting the thumbnail, creating a custom thumbnail. I think you have to be pretty popular or something to get custom thumbnails. So create that, and then also creating the title is probably like the last thing that I think of. Because remember back to the scripts, I had a title for it, and it was like, one of them was like which derpy is which or something. So I was like, a temp title. I've created a lot of temp titles, and usually they might just be the one word that I think of for the original idea. So usually I try to have a different, better sounding title or some kind of pun where I'm able to really think about it afterward, so then it'll actually reflect what the video is about more, so to make it more accurate to the video, to make it a little bit better. Hey, thanks, Curman. Thank you. So yeah. Anything else? I don't really add too many tags to this. Is basically my basic tags are like Pony, My Little Pony, animation, and Derpy Hooves are basically my go-to automatic ones. So I don't really add too many tags. But I think if I did, I might add some more. But yeah, I don't really use too many. Tags would be easier for YouTube to recommend it more, or to have more people see it. So that's the last thing I think of, so I don't really do it. Then I have like a normal little description. Something at the speed of light is just something fun. And then plug in everything. Hey, you can even plug in here too. Woo! Alright, check that out. You can see like I've been doing this playlist in season 24. So every 3 months is a new season. So that's where that number comes from. I have like about 100 videos or something on my channel. So I was gonna say go check them out. Okay, so now you made a whole video. That usually takes about a month for me to get these you know, pretty high quality, lot of stuff goes into it, kind of stuff. So okay, next portion, I get to go for another hour, so yay that I get time to do this. We get to do the second part of a demonstration where I get to show you how the puppet works and make a little video. So let's go into that as I segue into not talking. It's good water. I want more. Alright, so we're segueing. How we going? Oh yeah, I didn't talk to you guys. Hi Rick. Hi kids. Kind of stuff. Hey. Rikaito. DM. Do what you love. Thank you. Okay. So this will be the second portion of this. So let's see. So each of these I created. So these are different puppets and different angles to the same character, obviously. So I can have different angles of them. Because this is all 2D, it's not like I can 3D, you know, rotate them. So I have to create an entire new puppet, which we'll go into, just to have a different angle of them. So obviously some of these aren't that perfect. So basically all the structure is basically the same if I don't open one of them. If you just open like one of these, like the front facing one, you can see like if every bit here is separate, so I'm able to do any bits of this. Thanks, Cookie. So the head is actually the most complicated part to all this. So I can hide everything but the head. Now we get the head. So you can see here that this is a timeline. I also had a little automatic blink. We can go into that too. So if you're starting out, I recommend maybe doing either frame by frame. So that'll be redrawing everything every time. Just because trying to make a complicated puppet like this to have like everything that you need, it actually takes a lot. I don't want to say like a lot of skill, but it's like it does. Technically, to figure all this stuff out, it's not like Toon Boom or something where like the hierarchies and all that kind of crazy stuff actually come into play. It's kind of just how to actually use Flash kind of stuff really goes into it. So every bit in here is separated. So you can see how many bounding boxes or stuff in here. It's a separate entity or a separate layer. So every bit in here and go to frame picker, so you can see like all the frames inside it. So like even the mouth, we can see that the mouth has a bunch of different shapes. So I can click on any of these. Just want to zoom in so you guys can see it. So I can click on any of these and it'll swap to that frame. So if I click inside it, it has its own time. This is where it gets complicated. Each frame in here has a keyframe. I don't know if I'm explaining this too good. So every down here in the timeline, every column, I guess, is its own section of time. So it'll be, in this case, 1/24th of a second. So each of these, this is like having like a bunch of barrels. I don't know if I can explain that too. So Flash works like a barrels. Let's get that going. So you can have, let's get the background. So I can have a barrel. Can I retry that? Which is like a container. So you can add a bunch of stuff into it. So this will be your symbols. Maybe I shouldn't write that. Symbols. So your symbols all will live inside of this box. So anything that's outside it, like all your art and stuff, will be outside it. This is not a symbol. So as soon as you put it inside the symbol, inside the bucket, it'll be a symbol. And anything that's inside the symbol can be carried around and can be manipulated in any way, which way you want. So, but if you have even more outside it, you can move everything inside the bucket, but you can also move things outside the bucket too, but it'll be independent. So let's say that this is like your head. So you can have all the bits. So each of these will be a different bit. So it'll be different shapes that are inside the bucket. So I can move the entire bucket around and everything inside will be carried over. Let's say we have shapes inside the bucket. So we can have the same shapes, but when I move it, it'll only move the one bit that I drew. If they're on separate layers, it'll only move the one bit if I try to move it. So anything inside the symbol will be moved all together. Anything outside that's on separate layers will be moved independently. So let's say we make another bucket. So let's make a bigger bucket. That's like even bigger. We can have a bucket inside the bucket and then have even more stuff. Now what do? We can move the entire bucket with everything inside it, or we can also move independently the same bucket that we had inside and move that around. It'll also carry everything inside the bucket as well. We can also move anything inside the bucket too, but these will be more independent too, so you can't really drag those together. But they also move the entire bucket around too. So, can a symbol have other symbols inside it? Yes. So the buckets equal symbols. So every symbol can have a symbol inside it, but it cannot have the exact same symbol inside itself. So that'd be an exception. So these are separate buckets, or different instances or different copies, something that says to Flash that they're different. So, as I said, all sets contain itself. I don't think with this. So let's just try to get the symbols working. It's an interesting kind of yeah, kind of a thing with all that. So that's why we got here is that she is a symbol. Over here we have graphics. So it's an instance of derpy front all. That's what it's called. So I can move the entire symbol and I'll drag everything inside it. So that's the bucket. I click inside the bucket. I have more stuff inside the bucket. So I can move the head, which is also a bucket. The legs are also buckets, but they don't have anything inside them except for itself. So the tail, it will just only contain the tail. The head is also the bucket. So in that side, we can have even more buckets, which are symbols that can have even more symbols inside them. So that's why the mouth itself is also a symbol that also contains frames of shapes. So, welcome to Flash, where stuff like this you just gotta, work with. You don't have to think about it too much, but it's helpful. So inside here is also the eyelashes. So you can see, like, this is the timeline for itself. And then if I click on one of these, it'll swap, maybe? Or is it on loop? Oh, it's already on a loop, so that means it'll start at 15 instead. So, Flash is strange. It can get more complicated with other stuff too. So, this is only really scratching the surface with just like puppet stuff with characters. So, I mean, you can have like a whole universe inside like an eye if you wanted, where you can just keep putting more and more, you can add more stuff into it, and then it'll automatically, because they do the same symbol itself, that's why it changed onto the other one. But I can also change this red into its own symbol and then add more into it. So, so that's just hopefully a brief overview of that. So if we start using it, it should be a little bit easier to really get into. Any other questions? Okay. I don't know what that is. Okay, so the next section after that will be creating an animation. So we'll get into that. Symbols can be clones of other symbols with their own transformation information. Symbols can be clones of other symbols. Clones of other symbols. Trying to figure that out. Why would it not be a clone of itself? Because I'm trying to figure that part out. They could be clones of themselves, like a different instance, and they'll have different transformation information. It's like having, like two copies of itself. Like if we change one, then the other one won't change. But if we change something inside it, then both of them will have it. Hey, Daydream. Like the left eye to the right eye. Yeah. So that example was a bit. Yeah, I didn't explain it too right. So yeah. So outside, if I drag the bucket, I have two buckets of the same thing, but I'm able to move them independently because they're two separate buckets. But if I click inside of the bucket, it's also the same bucket in the other bucket, and so inside of the buckets they can be the same. They have to be the same unless changed. So again, if I click inside of the bucket, which is also the same bucket as a different copy of itself, then I can change it and it'll have the same drawings and stuff inside of the other bucket of the other copy. But if I say this bucket changed to another name, so I'll say this says to Flash, what name do you want to call the bucket? So I'm going to call it copy. Now I'm going to click inside the bucket. Now when I click inside, it's now a separate bucket, but we just copied it from the original bucket. So anything inside of these are now two different buckets, but they just happen to be the same thing that we just named it differently. So it's using this. It's an instance. The inside of the buckets are like quantum entangled, basically. Yeah, I think I thought these were pretty complicated, but I don't think they were actually this complicated to explain the symbols. So there's also other ways, other features that I'm able to use. So you can see like how it's have this extra layer on top that is just the shape of the same of the white of the eye. Has these shapes on top, layered on top of these pupils. I also named this a mask, so everything that's inside of the mask will be visible in render. If I say I take the pupil and then move it outside of the mask, what's going to happen is it's going to be able to show and render to me inside of the bucket. But if we're outside of it, if I click outside, it will not render because it's outside of this determined shape mask that I determined. So it's still, to Flash, it probably doesn't exist until we drill inside of the bucket and say, there it is. So, yeah. But if we click outside the bucket, then it'll always show because it's all the information is now inside of. I'm going back, put it back where I wanted. So that only works because of the extra mask layer that I have. So it has this shape underneath called the scalera. I don't know how you say it, but it's the white of the eye. So I have a layer for that, just to have some shape show. Then I have two layers of the pupils, so they're able to be independent. And then I have another layer on top that has this shape of the mask. And so I have to say it's a mask. And then anything outside of these predetermined shapes will render not visible outside of the bucket. So, yeah. The other thing you can do with layers is call it a guide. Hang on. Call it a guide. So it'll be a guide layer. So now it's got a little hammer. So if I click, everything will exist inside of the bucket until you drill outside of the bucket. When you try to view the bucket from outside, depending on these different layers and circumstances with the masks and symbols and stuff, then it won't appear. So if anything like disappears or something, check if it's like a guide or a mask, or like something weird with the symbols or something. If it doesn't show the left ear here, it doesn't show up, but it shows up here, check if it has like a little guide or something. Other than that, I think we can move on, hopefully. And then we'll make a little short animation. A really short amount of time, too. Alright. We're going to part 2. Okay. This is why I wanted 2 hours of this. Because I thought it would take this long to figure out how to even explain all this stuff, too. Fascinating. Thanks for explaining. You too. Wait. Thanks for helping with that. I'll make a new file because of, again, if I use the same symbol without making a duplication, then it won't. It'll think it's the same thing. So if I animate one, then the other one will also animate. So in case to just keep it a new file. Let's keep the background. So this is a new file. So I can put it here. Should we save it? Should we see where it goes? Yeah. Okay. Let's save it untitled 1. Let's use this one. Yep. Let's put there in. There we go. Okay. Now she's set for animating in her own timeline. So the bottom here will be in timeline. We can set it up to expose it. So in the bottom here, the little red timeline will keep going until it hits the end. Then that'll be the end of the animation. Hey Tia, welcome. I've explained a lot. This is my second half of my stream, so things don't make sense, that's why. But I think it came in a good time, because now we're going to do a little Mad Libs. Let's create a little animation together. So I'm going to need, from you guys, and hey Rainbow, I'm going to need you guys to write down an emotion, like a feeling or an emotion, and also a verb, so an action verb. And then I'll choose one, and then we'll decide where to go from there. Just in time for me to take a swig of more water because my throat's so bad. Happy try. I'm looking more for just like one or the other, so then I don't have to take from one guy. Come on, there's 20 of you. So I need either write down an emotion, or in a separate comment say a verb or an action verb. So then I'll put them together. I'll figure out what else I got here. That's all good. Okay, walking slowly. Okay. Past tense of yeet. Okay. Let me get some timeline in here and set this all up for you guys. Okay. So adding more exposure to make sure we have enough time. Because the head's a separate symbol, it has to be. They exist also in different timelines too. So that's why the mouth can have like 4 frames, and then the whole scene can have like 200, because they all exist in different timeline universes. Okay, fear, fused maniacal laughter. Hi. All right. Let's see. I'll take a couple more maybe. Steering. Okay. Let's see. This is one time you really get to help me, guys. Okay. This is usually what happens. It's usually worse for my usual streams. I only have like less than 10 people, so when I want some interaction, it gets pretty bad. Branson. God. Okay. We'll go a little bit lower. Soldering. I had to look that up. Is that a real word? Ooh, oh, soldering. Okay. What? Jumping. Okay. Yeah, I might take that. Let's see. That of fear jumping. That might be fun. Follow the style. Okay. Oh yeah, she has wings so she can fly. That's usually what I do too. Just because I don't like my walking animation, I can also get into that too. Is that I have a separate instance of all of the legs that walk. So this is gonna look really drippy. But I'll hide the regular legs and then use these legs that are made for walking. And they have their own legs, and then they have their own animation of them walking. Dabbing. Okay. I can do fear dabbing or confused dabbing. So this is what is always inside of the Derpy when you watch my videos, is that this is always happening inside it. This is always playing. So, sorry. Making an 8-bit computer, Minecraft, yes, that's what I'm doing. Cool. Okay. Let me go back up. Okay, we got happy, trot, fear, confused, staring, prancing, swallowing, jumping, falling, dabbing. Okay. So I'll choose. What do I have time for, really? I really don't have time for like maybe like a jumping, and then would you like fear or confused? Let's see. Because I can do either. I definitely want jumping just because that'd be actually the easiest. I'm sorry. Just the time. I thought I had more time to really make it actually thing. So this is just gonna be like a really like 1 second loop almost. Just add this, and then if I want fear or confused, I think. How would you confuse them, Joe? You can do fear, but then it's like, I'll go confused for now. Okay, so let's do a really short loop of confused jumping. Here we go. Okay. I'm not nervous too much. Yeah. This is gonna be weird. So what do? I need to do a speed run of this pretty much to really get this going. So I'm gonna have to have. Oh, we start with a scribble. Always start with scribble. Confused jumping. So we're gonna use this. Boop boop. Let's get rid of that actually. Let's do that. Yep. So I start with this as a base. So this is our starboard for what we want. So now we're gonna do like the anime swirly expression. And then she's like, oh. And then maybe like her legs are probably like bowing or something. Maybe like super splayed out or something. This is gonna be like a spinded kind of emotion or something. So we can have that. Oops, I deleted it. Still want it. So this is my timeline at the bottom. So we got another keyframe. So I want anticipation of her jumping. So I need her to. Let's lift her head down a little bit. Just get her go down a little bit. And then we're gonna have her like here. This is gonna like that. This is my storyboard, so this is kind of like the animatic that I'm using. Move it up a little bit. And then it should be like hang time it a little bit. This is our hip, and then you should like really. So we're gonna copy the first frame. You can even like add a little jump rope or something on her. Just gonna look down. This is gonna be our impact squash. Hip. And then that'll be into that. That'll be 1 second. This can actually be a little bit. Okay, so what do we got? Okay, so this looks good. So this will be like the basic sketch of what I want. So this is kind of like in motion without having to, you know, worry about the entire puppet itself. So I need something, you know, something in between an idea and a final project. Final project thing. So I need it to be some kind of sketch that's like in timed and emotion of what I want. So now I can take my puppet itself and then we can animate it to be exactly that. Cute. Okay, because I don't have time to because I know this is gonna take like a while. Okay, so what we need to do is talk to myself a little bit longer in my room and figure out exactly what else, what emotion I needed. So I needed that kind of emotion. Okay, so we need, don't know how to do the eye, so I'll figure that out. No, this could be that mouth. This is why you make a puppet. So this is why I could just say like, oh, I need like an eyebrow. Ah, geez. And it's like, oh, I already drew one. So it's like, okay, boop, put it in. Gotta angle it out. Oh, but oh. Now she's already like a little bit worried, so we could have had that fear. So fear would probably be like something like this. So the difference between like fear and confused would probably just be like difference between like this and like something like your eyes are freaking out. We can also change our mouths if we wanted. So have a little bit more like disgust or something a little bit bigger. Okay. I don't know how to do this really, guys. I don't know what I want from that. I can either take the pupils out. Let's see if we can do that. And then drag this up. And then add another layer. It's gonna be the same kind of. You get the same color. Let's see. So I want this really eye like that. And this could be what I want. Let's see. Just put it over there. Okay. You can actually, if you wanted to, we can even have it rotate around. If we have time to do that. I'm just so nervous right now trying to get this done. And trying to make it good too, you know. Okay. So those are actually pretty happy with that. If I wanted it to be the same color, I need the actual color. So you click it, I can eyedrop it where I want it. Okay. Now, how we doing? These increase. Okay. Biggest thing is trying to get this timeline to move. Okay. So I can make this in the same. Maybe I can move this over, and then this is crazy. This is showing you the power of symbols. I can also do this too, where I can take this shape of what I wanted, click inside of the pupil. So we're inside of the pupil. Get rid of that. Put it in. Where'd it go? It's over here. Why is it over here? And then place it back to position. Playing with the outline on. I have a serious time, Lord. This is gonna be confusing. Okay. Okay, so what we got now is that we got this. This is on a loop, so it's gonna seizure us out a little bit there. Can sync that out. Now we got 2 frames here. So I can click it. Boop. Now it's that one. Haha. Okay. Now I can take this one because it's the same actual symbol. It's the same bucket. So I could just hopefully do that again. Ugh. Is it? Oh. Okay, now I just remembered what I did. With the front one, I used the exact same copy. With this one, I said, there should be different copies, of course. So I gotta go back in this one and just copy paste it again. So that's okay. I think I used the same way, but that's okay too. It should be the same. Or I can also flip it, just make it different. Maybe like upside down. Like that. Okay. That's on loop again. Just need that. Up. Now there it is. Haha. Oh, there we got that. Then we get rid of the originals of our sketches, and there we go. And boop, there we got that. Haha. Okay. And there's gonna be like a whole meme now of quantum buckets. Okay. So you can even maybe not. Let's see. I don't know what I want. Let's go back outside head. So now we're outside head. So now we got all this to play with, the whole body. So now we're gonna pose the entire body. So I'm like shift selecting the entire thing, unselecting the head, and then holding Alt, and then I can move it like this. So it'll be grounded from the opposite edge. It'll be locked. So this will be over here. This will be apart. This will be over there. These can also be bowed a little bit in. So guess what? I got frames for inside the legs too, so they can have different positions like this. So I just need something like this. And I don't know why it always closes. That's A little annoying. Is that so we can pose it like this? Exactly what we want. Okay. Should make this a little bit longer. This can be a little bit shorter just to show that there's a little bit more depth. So we got this. So now she's gonna be confused, and then see if we line that up with the skeleton that we wanted. So then we're gonna have her jump, and then we'll just have to animate every keyframe in there too, and then then we'll be good. Okay, I gotta take a little pause. Yeah, adorable, great. So what I do, it's really cute stuff. What we can also do is copy this entire layer, copy layer, go inside Derpy, layer, and assets, and it gets worse. And then duplicate that layer. Man, that's not what I wanted. Just paste layer. There we go. It's not in the position that I want, so I'll have to select all the frames here, and then put it back. And put it back. Okay. So now I don't need this outside. But now I have all the entire animation that I want inside of the puppet itself. So now I have the animation of what I want inside it. So now I'm just able to hopefully just animate. I like to animate with this kind of puppet on 2s. So every layer gets a keyframe, and then every other frame gets a keyframe. Let's figure out what I want. So this one needs to be posed a little bit down, a little bit. Let's stretch that out a little bit. Close that, and then it'll be up a little bit. And then here, she has a new frame of her. She's gonna look down. I got it. I'm always like moving the whole workspace. So if I get a little bit upset about that, it's like I gotta have some room. I want everything to be framed exactly where I want it, so I can see everything. So I'm moving the neck a little bit, moving the head down, rotating it by a little rotating bit thing. Okay, so I got that. I got boop. So blah blah blah. Boop, boop. So she's going down, and then she needs to bounce up real quick. So here, she needs to be in the opposite pose. For now, I can also swap this. Where'd it go? That's my thing. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? What no? Frame picker. There it goes. Did you see where it disappeared? I didn't. When did it go away? Did I close it? I need to flip this around, just like I had it in the storyboard. Legs are gonna sway a little bit. Tail has gravity, so it's gonna be dragging a little bit. Head's gonna go up like this. Everything's like this as I do it. Stretch that a little bit. Hold on, can be rotated a little bit more. Push it further. It's about what I want there. I have to close it like right then when I try to fix that. Okay, and then that was the extreme, so we need to push this even further. We can take this, yeah, and just kind of push everything up a little bit so it'll be stretched up like whoop whoop. So this is like the apex down a little bit, and then she's gonna go back to here. Let's find out where that is, and then I might have to take this, just copy it over, just to make sure that works a little bit. And you're just gonna be back in that same kind of position where Shock has to recover a little bit. And she might be a little bit stumbly. So might have to add that too, so we might have some frames that are kind of, you know, I don't know. Trying to pick herself up or something, like she's so confused trying to figure this out, like what's going on. Bleh. Just realizing, is this like a hypnotizing kind of thing? Like this is getting, you know, anyone feeling a little bit. Hip. Okay. Hip. And then she needs to get a little bit, lift herself up a little bit here. Kind of go back to first frame. So that's a going in. So it'll be there and then there. So this will be like in between the first and last frame. So we got to make sure everything still kind of feels the same. Let me just see how it is. Watching it. I feel like this can also be put out too, maybe like that. Or it is be like that. So you can easily just change it. I probably just broke her leg if she has her arm like that, and then it's like that. So let's change that back maybe to out like that, and then she kind of recovers. Also be more like that. Hip, hip, hip. It's adding too much. So this one also needs to be go the other way. Boop, boop, boop. And she really arcs it back a bit too much. So that's a 7, let's put it back at 6. Yeah. I want to add like a jump rope if I have time. These guys be a little bit taller too, so let's get some in between onion skinning. So I know it's going to be like that. Like that. And that. Head's either too far forward or his neck is popping out from the back. Okay. So we go whoop. Okay. So this is a little bit different than usually, you know, for making a whole animation. I'm trying to make this a loop. So it'll be a 1 second loop of all this. So you know, usually you try to just perform the story, you know. I usually try to I'd write the script linearly, and then I write the storyboard linearly or chronologically. So, and then as I kind of go, I try to, you know, I kind of bounce and forth between making assets. So I try to have, you know, try to have what I need, like try to have all characters on set and backgrounds set before I animate. So, and then I try to do like every. Try to figure out what else. Can't talk. There's a little bit left, and then so this will be the extreme here. So I'll try to extreme the pose there, and then it'll be a little bit left, and then up, and then that'll be apex, and then it's gonna rotate down into the green outline. Or I try to animate it fairly fairly chronologically, you know, from the beginning of the story to the end of the story. I try to do it as much as I can of it being in the story as much as I can. If I don't have like essential character, I'll probably make them first. With the video with the monster in the cave, I might have time to show it off, but yeah, I was had some different sketches for that at the beginning, where it wasn't quite, you know, the original. The final design looked a little bit different. We're gonna put this at the end just so I can see what this needs to look like. So this needs to be a little over around. This needs to be, so I can see the outline of where they need to be next, so that I can plan for that and then get rid of that, just so I can have a loop. So hopefully this should look okay. Woo, woo. Next, a little bit off. Other than that. Okay. Oh, I don't even do 3-minute animations, but yes. My videos are at the longest, sometimes even 2 minutes. So. So yeah, that's why. I don't know how I was able to make a video like basically every week. I think it was either a week or every 2 weeks. It was insane. Like during like junior high, I was making a video every 2 weeks. But they were only like a minute long, or they were based on something else, so I was able to, didn't have to think too much about the story, you know. This needs to be way more of a squish. Hip. She's more squishy. Hip. Hip. She might even have this as the apex. So I might have this a little bit lower. And she might grow into this. This might be lifted up a little bit more. Sorry, dude. Did you say something weird? Okay. Okay. That was a bit quicker than I thought to finish this. I mean, there's always a little bit of... We can add more polish. We can add more hair change. We can add more physics to a bunch of stuff. We can add a star hit. I always like adding those. Let's add that. We got the basics of it. It's a lot of work. So I wanted to show that, yeah, you can have a storyboard that's timed out, and then using the puppet, without too much work, you can just animate it pretty much, you know, without adding to have too many more creating new assets. We needed the swirly eyes, but other than that, I had pretty much everything else I needed to figure this out. So that's here, actually. And then kind of splays out, and then get rid of it. So it's only there for like 2 frames, but you're able to feel it a little bit, because there's not much of a stage or like anything to really show that. You can guide this to really show that where the actual floor is, so you need something to really enunciate it. Oh yeah, animation is actually a lot of math and science and physics, so it's not just drawing a bunch of cute ponies in sequence. It's actually thinking a lot more technically to get this really good. Oh yeah, that impact star is really good. Oh hey Star, he's the moderator on my usual chat. He's new stop motion. It took me an hour to 2 to make a video that's worth not even a minute. Because at least 30 seconds. Ah, totally. I did some stop motion too, but I actually had like a junior high think somewhere around there, I had some formal, not really, just like a somewhat. I'm going to make this an animation. So we can actually do this by, inside of the symbol, I can actually make this a symbol. It's supposed to be swirly. Then we can put here. And then tween it. And then say rotate clockwise. And then I'll rotate. Haha. What's up, Marcus? Alright. So we go back out. We'll say this is a loop starting at 1 frame. Then we go back out. And it'll be swirly. Haha. So that's all inner timelines. Inner timelines can work like that. So inside of the head we have its own timeline of this is swirly. Let's just make it go back to 1 second. Alright, because this is damn dumb to make this a different symbol, even though it's the exact same shape. We have to do it again with the other one. It's really what's her eye? It's the left and right. Okay, up, 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 up. Close enough. Okay. Okay, so I can do it again. Not that button. This one. Tween it. Now we can say, let's say do ease and all of that. Counterclockwise. So now I actually spin the other way. There we go. Whoosh. Oh, almost. There we go. Haha. Okay. So I might want to change the art of itself. Go back in here and then make it more square. So it'll just look a little better. Okay. Let's do this one. Make the art of itself more square. Go back out and kind of squish it. So now it should spin around, hopefully by the right axis. Whoa! It's more like a hypnotized, confused, kind of dazed look. And she's also jumping. Haha! So much quantum. Yeah, I never really explained it like that with my other guys. Usually I don't really think that you guys would care that how much confusing this really is. So that'd be like a simple, 1 second loop. If you want like a whole animation, then it would take obviously several weeks. Usually in a day, I'll let it run. Usually in a day, I might be able to animate at least maybe 5, if I'm lucky, 10 seconds worth. So that's why it takes so long. Is that usually I'm always like perfecting it as I go. So usually when I finish, animating the shot, then it's pretty much done. So I'm able to move on to the next one. So okay. Would you be likely to even post this live stream on your YouTube in its entirety after you finish? I just found it relevant to see it from the beginning. Ah, yeah, forgot that. To make it as close to real time, I have to not make it able to DVR. So yes, I'll have this on my channel. It might be in a playlist or something and under live streams, but it should be on my main channel for a couple weeks before I private it just to be only in the thing. This is good. It's not 100% accurate with what I want, but yes. Oh, look, there's 2 derps. Hey, thanks, Jane. Everything else in your life was keep you busy. Yes. I don't know if this is a curse or not, but this is my job. It's basically to do these videos. along with some other freelance stuff and like some other collab stuff I've been doing over the years. But this is all I've done. Excuse me. So, if we want, I can do either. We got like 20 minutes left, so I can either do some Q&A, where I can open more projects and show you, drill into stuff or like other questions and stuff. Otherwise, we can hang out with that. So yeah. So keep around if you have more questions. And we'll open more stuff. So maybe we'll invite some more stuff into the mix. All right. So, if there's anything, maybe. So if you missed the beginning of it, I did go over a little presentation of how to start your own project, of what goes into making an animation in my style. So, yeah. Oh, thank you. So, otherwise, we'll be doing Q&A. And open more stuff if you need it. Okay. Oh, some simple stuff. Okay. When did I join the fandom, and what was your first episode? Oh, gotcha. My first actual scene of a pony was like a month or so. I don't remember exactly. Before I watched the show, like in 2011-ish. So I was pretty early on the boat. That's a whole story of. I saw a picture on like I Can Has Cheeseburger, some meme site, and it had like the gif of Derpy jumping up and down from Feeling Pinky Keen. So, I should have my video going. So that was my first instance of watching something of Pony. I was thinking like that's pretty cute, and so my first instance of MLP was Derpy, and then eventually watched the show, but I watched episode 2 first, so I was confused of what's even going on with the story. Like, who are these characters? Like, why are they already established? I don't know any of them. And then I was like, oh, that was part 2, and I was like, well, I'm already here. I'll watch part 1, and then it made everything make sense, and it's like, oh, okay, that kind of led me into just watching the show. Really fun. Yeah. So my first episode was episode 2. For your question. To be confused must be side effects of the quantum entanglement presence in the buckets. There's so many buckets. I can never jump over a bucket or something. Let's add more stuff to this. What will you do after Gen 4 concludes this year? What made it start dates? Fusions like anime project. Yeah. I'm always confused. Okay, so we need try to figure this out. Well, we need it to be trying to figure out the jump rope. Jump rope here, if we have it, will be like here. So it's basically just making a loop like that. And then for there, it needs to be like there. And from there, it needs to be upside down. Like that. What will I do? Oh yeah. I think I might just move on to other stuff. Really. I've had some original projects in the past that I've always had in my mind, and of course I never really had time to do that. So I would like to work on something where I would have a original idea. So I would like to do that. Otherwise, I might want to go into like some. Does that even work? Ooh, that kind of works. So this needs to be above. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so confused. This needs to be there. This needs to be there. This needs to be there. Why is that not working? It's too dead. Yeah. There we go. That's pretty simple. Jump rope. because I've had no actual job experience besides just contract and other stuff, with freelance and stuff, and just commissions of random stuff for everything MLP stuff. I was thinking of either just doing something original to get as a portfolio maybe, and then work in some kind of office kind of environment. Maybe just doing, it doesn't really have to be animation really if it doesn't need to be. Just something with, my college degrees are in graphic design, so I'll be pretty good if it's just, you know, something simple where I just have to make Photoshop or Illustrator kind of posters or something. I'll be okay with that. I'm a fan of Doctor Who. Yes. My dad is a super fan. We've actually sat down for like off and on a couple years, like 2 or 3 years, and watched every Doctor Who episode. As much as we, you know, as much as we could, like the ones that are not, you know, available because they got deleted. However that works. Yeah, I watched every episode, so I'm all caught up too. So somehow that happened. That's why a couple of my older videos also have, you know, Doctor Who's adventures and some other small references to stuff like that. Like even at Derby Labo, I made like a cardboard TARDIS, so stuff like that. That's where I spent his chop rope now. Do I ship Derpy and Doctor? I don't exactly ship or have like my own fanfiction relationships with the characters. They're all just friends. So yeah, I don't really do that. I don't really have Dinky in the universe of mine either. So Derpy's by herself, just being best as she can. She's trying her best. So yeah. Let's see. If I'm going to open any of the older videos or something, any of them, I'll be able to open those. I can quickly open like maybe Derpy Test. I know maybe, hopefully most of you have seen those, or I can open the Cave Story one. Yeah. Oh, thanks, be serious. Okay, see ya. Yeah. I will say maybe in like 10 minutes, Minty Root will start his panel. So, well, I get in line for that. Otherwise, stick around with me for a couple bits and I'll answer all your questions. Oh boy, this is really fun. I can't stop watching this now. Let's see. Oh, do I have any plans of including thinking in a future video? I don't know if I already have. Is the question? I honestly can't remember. I might have one of the videos. I'm opening out of stuff over here. I had this Halloween video a couple years ago. Yeah, I don't remember. I had a bunch of Phillies, but I don't remember if they were exactly dinky or not. Well, I've also had I don't think I did in the Halloween one. Let's go open that. I had that also Christmas one where Derpy like relived her life where she was also a baby. So I guess Derpy as a baby kind of looks like Dinky, so it's kind of similar to that too. What would happen if I come across a real pair of quantum entangled buckets? I don't know. If they're big enough, I like to go inside and see what happens. Yeah, man. See if another bucket, you know, across, you know, the street or something. If they just happen to be, you know, two muggers or something, and then I just see them too. Gives me a pair of them, right? And then see if like a little magic trick with like a you come out of one end and you come out the other or something, or would there be two of them, or like would there already be two of them, or do I have to be inside the bucket to have both of them, or something, you know, crazy stuff like that. That's why, you know, I try to just deal with time travel. It's somehow a lot easier than quantum mechanics. For there to be a takeover, there has to be two. Okay. Can you have three? I don't know if I wanna make this more complicated. Let's open this just to see if this opens. Just to show you like what an actual video of mine would look like. Or just crash it. Let's see. Please load. Yay, okay. Let's go back here. It's not the end yet. I just want to quickly go through here. Just show off what an actual active finished video looks like. Just real quick. Probably should have shown this earlier, but you guys are still here. Okay. So this is an active file, or a finished file. So it has 3 layers of storyboards. So that's the first pass that I do. So I have every shot is laid out and timed out. So I have enough layers so I can figure out what I want. So these are all the storyboards and cute little doodles of the whole story. And then I kind of go over it and kind of trace it with the stuff I want. And then I have the backgrounds, kind of zoom ins, and then I add the characters in, and then animate them. So you can see like only this square in the middle is actually being rendered as a final video, but I usually have like a whole bunch of stuff off screen or stuff like this where it's just overflow, basically to keep the screen safe stuff. So like in here, things get complicated where like inside of this background is actually a million more layers of all the different objects and stuff in here. So everything that's a different color is a different layer. So that's a bit easier to kind of show a little neon of like how much of stuff is actually in this one background is that are on different layers. So I'm trying to draw things on different layers so then I can say like, oh, this clock should be gone. Okay, you know, move it around. So in here, there's this little bubble around her, so then her legs won't show. So this is a mask. So it'll be like that. So this area around here, I kind of went around it to make sure that she won't appear in front of the desk. So when I animate it, she'll be there, and then add some impact square stars, and then she animates, and then this is the next shot. So then we can go inside of her, and then she has her own animation of all these dots that show like where her position is. And then we go inside of her again. You can see like she has a bunch of animation too, and then the mouths, and then everything that I showed too. So, and then it gets more complicated, more characters. So, but I see there's more questions. Nothing from Sussex. 42,000 pounds of force. Wow, it's probably just as much as that little star like that. Yeah, so it's kind of fun to have different angles with this one. Inside of this house too, it's the same background from before, but I just zoomed in and then have her open a door as a separate layer, and then have her open it too, and just kind of meld everything together. So it's like how I make backgrounds too, is that I have these little overflow or like these kind of messy lines, and because I know where the safe space is, I'm able to add these little things that I usually try to just clip off so it'll be gone, but it sometimes I don't. It's just to be messy. This is fun. This is like a shape tween. So in case you just want to not make it a whole symbol, you can just have it a shape and then just tween it. So Sometimes that breaks in Flash, but sometimes it doesn't. So you can see here, like, these are on different layers. Where this mountain's a layer, this back mountain's layer, and then these clouds are different layers. So then they all work and animate a little bit differently at different rates to show some perspective and other stuff. Added a little smear, some smear lines for this one frame to really show that she fell, and even more star impacts. And then boop, that's, you know, it's quick enough sort of where you can almost see it. I also made each of these backgrounds on the same symbol, so that I can have different, so I can keep things consistent and having just one symbol and then just saying like, oh, I need this one, you know, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4. So I can swap them out. I didn't have to. I can have them as different symbols and stuff. Like this file for this animation has 191 items for different symbols. So that's every bucket is inside of it. But most of it is either duplicates of stuff or like certain reference pictures to get the backgrounds. Spider stuff I left in here. Yeah. A lot of different background duplications of stuff. So you can see like this background is different from this background, so I have to make a different symbol. It has to be a symbol to include layers. If I want it to be more than layers than I have here, and it's just easier to have it. Hey, Incepted. How you doing? I'm almost done. I got 5 more minutes. I've just got to go through here real quick. Bench scene. Just want to show inside the cave how I pulled that off with all these reflected. So this was actually all inside of Flash. So this is all one. This is probably gonna break my computer. Probably the stream. It's probably good that, you know, plan ahead that I do something that's probably got a break at the very end. That's a good tip. It's saving all these things. So she flies in. Derpy herself is on a own layer. Then every shape of the background is its own layer. So I can hide like one of these. Let's show this one. Where is it? That's reflective of Derpy. And that's the shape. Oh yeah, they're all hidden, so you can't see them. So this is one shape in the background. And then this is a mask. So this is a shape mask, and then it hides this Derpy inside of it. And then she animates. So when we have inside like that, then outside, with the mask turned on, only where I set the Derpy, you know, the mask and the derps, and it just kind of works. So then I duplicated that for every shape of here, then added the Derpy to be inside of the mask of itself. So and then added reflection on the bottom, which is, they're all copies of the same thing. So that's why they're all animate the same way too. So I couldn't think of another way to really do this. And my one word for this video was reflection or mirror. So that's why I wanted to make sure, like, if anything, I'm gonna have a reflection in it. So I'm trying to figure that out. I have my storyboards. I have even more storyboards. I guess it's on fire. So this is my process, I guess. If I want to rechange the storyboards, with this one I wanted to redo some stuff. So I wanted to change a bunch of these, so I crossed them off and then redid them, just so I would have time for it. The monster, he's the Yeti. He's all in parts too, and then the head also has parts, so I was able to animate that too. So I think I'm just about on time, so I can go back to here. So now I hope you're feeling like this now. So that was really fun to make. looking forward to making some new videos, probably through the rest of the season, and then I'll figure out what to do past then. I didn't think that the season would start this early. I thought the season would start, you know, like in fall or something. So that changed a couple of plans. So anyway, and figure out how much time I have. I have 50 seconds, I guess. So yeah, thanks for this, you know, wonderful panel. You guys were great. Thanks for all your questions and help. And you guys help with this video. So you help with this animation. So yeah. Thank you again. I'll be here, I guess. Maybe I'll check out Minty Root stream. He'll be starting about now. So yeah. Thanks for joining for this panel. I don't know how to really end it. So I'm just gonna figure out how to end it. Okay. See ya.